You're listening to Biz-Souls, the business podcast with an edge, hosted by me, Rona Lewis, and Jeffrey Hansler. Tune in for perspectives and discoveries about the changing world of business. It's time to connect to the heart, soul, and humor of how business gets done. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Biz-Souls. I'm Rona Lewis.
I'm Jeffrey Hansler, and we get to the heart and soul of business and the people that make it happen.
And today's people is one of Jeffrey's buddies, Greg Schirmer, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about him as soon as I put my reading glasses on.
Why you get that ready? Rugby. He's one of my
rugby
teachers.
Buddies, yeah.
One of my rugby teachers.
Okay, so Greg is a retired commander from the Long Beach Police Department in California after serving for 24 years. Greg began his career at the LBPD as a police recruit way back in 1998. You're almost a relic, for goodness sake. Never a relic. He was promoted.
No, it's true.
He was promoted to sergeant in 2007 and lieutenant in 2015. Greg has held assignments as bicycle control officer, community policing officer, public information officer, financial crimes detective. Ooh, that must have been fun. Underwater dive team officer, investigation bureau administrative sergeant, basic recruit academy sergeant, and watch commander. Try saying all that 5 times fast. Holy crap. He served as the Special Victims Section lieutenant for almost 4 years, then promoted to commander, where he led the Port Police Division and later the Special Investigations Division. He taught various basic recruit academy courses on topics ranging from racial profiling, leadership, and ethics to criminal law. He is now part of Embassy Consulting Services and conducts programs on negotiations and leadership. So welcome, Greg.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's great. Always great to have you here. And
He is so excited because so many of the guests we have are people that like I know and I've run on. So he's like, I got one. So he's really excited.
Well, and it's great, and I do love Jeff. I've known Jeff for many, many years, probably before I became a police officer. So it's been a long time.
I was 43. I can't do the math, though. 43.
I can't do the math either. That's part of being a little bit older.
23. So it was 23 years ago when I started.
I was going to say you can't even use all your fingers and toes.
No. So you were a police officer then.
Yes.
Yeah. You were one of the sane ones on the rugby team. Always had to be worried.
That's right. Yeah.
And you looked out for us. Anyway, first question is always, what'd you want to be when you grew up? Did you always want to be in law enforcement, or did you want to be a movie star?
Well, no. Growing up, I always wanted to be a police officer. Interestingly enough, I was young. Wanted to be a police officer. Played cops and robbers and that types of thing. And then in high school, my best friend's father was an LA County deputy sheriff and really a mentor to me, along with my own father, who was a mechanical engineer. And I couldn't do that.
Similar, very similar.
But Jerry Green was a huge mentor. We used to go visit him at his stations, and I really started getting involved and really realizing that I had a passion for that type of work. So really growing up, that's kind of what I always wanted to do. I took a little bit of a different path, and we can talk about that if you're interested.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Real quick. And so his rugby name was Fab. And nicknames always have to be given to you. You can't give yourself one. And so, where did that come from?
So when I started playing for the Orange County Bucks rugby team in 1990, after I graduated with my bachelor's, I had a big pompadour. Makes my hair right now look like it was very small. And apparently it never got messed up while I was playing rugby. So one of our old buddies, Andy, gave me the nickname Fab because I had fabulous hair. And it never got
that's
messed
hysterical.
up in the rugby game. And to this day, some people I don't think know my real name.
Yeah,
that's a right.
I had to look it up the first couple of times. Next time I talk to Taylor Sheridan, I'm going to recommend you for one of his shows. It'll be great. He'll love you.
Because they're best friends. They talk all the time.
That's awesome. That's great.
So, arts. You did the arts.
Bachelor of Arts, Master of Arts.
So yeah, I have a bachelor's degree in business administration. So when I graduated from high school, I thought I kind of got maybe derailed from what I wanted to do. And I thought maybe I want to make a ton of money and I'll work in business. And so I started at Cal State Fullerton with a business administration major. And I graduated and started working in the business world. I was a purchasing manager for a healthcare company. And I had gotten into purchasing through an internship that I had for 2 summers with General Dynamics in their procurement department. So I started that, and I still felt the pull to law enforcement. And I realized that while I may be able to stay in business and maybe make more money, do something, it wasn't fulfilling for me, and that I should follow kind of that passion and that voice in the back of my head. And so I started testing with different police agencies and finally was hired with Long Beach, which ended up being the perfect home for me.
Excellent. Sometimes it's nice when it's obvious, when you feel comfortable enough and happy and satisfied enough in a job that you know you can do it forever.
Yes,
Or
and that was definitely, I would go back and do it again. And when I try and mentor young people, I coach rugby now. I've coached sports throughout my life. And I tell the young people, don't be tied down to what you started. You're never going to regret what you've done. You're going to be able to take those skills and everything that you've learned to wherever you go. But don't let that start define who or where you're going to go. And I'm glad I didn't. I switched careers at 30, and it was the best thing in the world for me.
So you seem to have carried that philosophy into the Long Beach Police Department because you had a variety of different jobs. I mean, that's a huge thing, from, diving, public information officer, and patrol. And why do most officers do that, or is that just you going, oh, let's try this?
I think it's maybe split 50-50. Some officers really do like the fact that you can almost have a new job every few years. Also, building that resume helps when you want to promote and you have some eligibility and, well, not eligibility, but as you try and promote, they're looking at everything that you've done and your resume within the department as well. And to have a variety of positions certainly helps as you promote, because then you have that knowledge on when you start supervising other teams. So it is helpful. I wouldn't say everybody does it, but certainly it's one of the great benefits of working in law enforcement.
Hey, you can take that bike riding skill anywhere.
Well, there are some things that are, you go to a 3-day school to learn how to ride a
That's
bike
right.
and patrol. And I'm not saying I didn't have fun doing some of these things. My wife, at the time, we were just dating then, and she's like, you aren't working. I'm like, well, just because I have fun doesn't mean it's not work. But again, if you have
I'm
a
all
passion
over
for
that,
what you're
yeah.
doing,
Well,
it's great.
Yeah.
Isn't it usually beach patrol or one of the beach towns, and you're in shorts and you're on the bike and you got the bike helmet?
And the
Yeah,
shades.
so Long Beach certainly has a long coastline, and I spent most of my time along the beach or the beach area within Long Beach. But we did venture in a little bit inland as well, and
Block or
did
two?
some enforcement there. What's
I
that?
said a block or two.
Maybe a block or two. I got to keep my tan or
That's
whatever.
right.
Okay, when you took the bike helmet off, did the hair stay the same?
Oh,
I
that's
bet
a
it
good
did.
question.
The worst
That's a
part
really
about
good
being on
question.
bike patrol is I had to wear a hat
Right.
on this head.
Got a hat. Honey, I go through that all the time with this mop. If I wear a hat,
Right.
I'm doomed.
So,
So,
Right.
good.
you retired how long ago? 2 years ago?
I retired 3 years ago.
3 years
now.
ago.
Okay, and now you're with this consulting group. So tell us a little bit about how you see the skills you learned as a police officer work with leadership and what you do now.
Yeah, so I teach some law enforcement, some non-law enforcement. We work with private sector organizations on de-escalation, workplace violence, and active shooter training. So certainly those are types of skills that every police officer has to know how to do, how to respond to those types of incidents, as well as how to speak to people and how to talk to people. Uh, Really, one of the most important skills that a police officer can have is being able to communicate with people.
Right.
And so when we talk about de-escalation, especially in the world we live in right now, to be able to interact with people, regardless of where they're at, to be able to keep yourself in your world, and it's about them when they have some anger issues and not about who you are. So really learning that, those skills again that I learned through my entire career, and then specifically teaching some of them, uh, really have moved me into where I'm at with embassy consulting and facilitating the classes that I do.
It sounds very much like you are teaching people another way to think about, about
Absolutely.
situations.
It is absolutely a different way of thinking, a different mindset. And so if you change that paradigm in yourself and understand who you are and some of the histories that you've gone through and the experiences, then you know how to react or respond, not really react or fly off the handle with somebody, but you know how to respond. In
Right.
fact, my kids call me on that all the time because uh, I'll say something, they're like, well, Dad, you're reacting rather than responding to this
Ooh.
incident. And I'm like, all right, kids. So, yeah, maybe I want to him with the back of my hand. I appreciate that they've listened to what Dad has said throughout their lives. So,
Damn it.
yeah, exactly.
Damn
Sorry,
it. I
kids.
taught them well.
Right. And so some of the other skills and some of the classes that I facilitated in the police academy were leadership and ethics, as well as introduction to criminal law and some other topics, our cultural competency or anti-bias based policing curriculum that I still continue to facilitate within the law enforcement world as well.
So have things changed in terms of what the subject matter is being with the craziness of what the country's been going through in the past few years? Because there's, the
I
stress levels are high and they're pervasive everywhere.
Right. I don't know that it's really changed how we should be responding to those things, both in the law enforcement world or ourselves within other organizations. Again, it's more about understanding who we are, and then some tips on communication. There's certainly um, communication guidelines that are more general as it relates to just human relations rather than again, reacting or flying off the handle
Right.
when we're confronted with something.
So when you're talking to the corporate world and private, maybe law enforcement world, the what are the main things that are there mistakes that they make or things that they could learn? Are there themes that go on? Are there questions
Yeah,
that
why
come?
are they bringing it in? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I think some organizations interact with the public more often, and depending on what part of the community, if they're out in the field, that certainly changes certain dynamics than if they're working within their own organizations with just their own partners or coworkers. But even that, you can learn how to deal with that. Everybody has something going on, and understanding that everybody has a background. I know I facilitate kind of that topic, but my dad certainly taught me that when I was younger, that, hey, everybody has something going on, and understand that. So again, it's not about you. Sometimes it's about them and what they're going through. And then us just understanding that as human beings and then being able to respond. We're representing not just ourselves, but our organizations.
Sure.
So it's really important to understand that as well, that just because somebody's got this high or angry or upset about something, oftentimes it's has nothing to do with the interaction that you're
Right.
having, but you can't match that level with the same level.
What you're describing emotional intelligence.
Exactly. And there's actually a book that I talk about emotional intelligence. And you have the IQ and we have the intelligence quotient, but you have EQ, which is
Right.
the emotional quotient. and certainly utilize that about emotional intelligence. I think it's 2.0 is the book.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the
Yeah.
Was
author.
that Daniel Goleman?
No,
No,
emotional.
No.
Yeah. I always say Clark, and it's not Clark.
I can't
Anyway,
remember who it is.
I know you're
but
talking.
yeah,
It's actually
Yeah,
behind me on the library.
somewhere.
it's back there, right? And I have and read that book as well a couple times, and certainly we can. That helps us in how we respond to people.
Yeah, yeah.
So, couple things, tips for people that would like to get into law enforcement, and then tips for people that want to transition and think, if you're transferring out of, say, the government, or you're transferring out of, they're more law enforcement is government, so you're transferring out of that into the private sector.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Were you going to say something,
I
Rona?
was actually gonna. I wanted to take it one step further. Not necessarily the job itself. I would ask for a tip for how to deal with controversy and things like that, being like one of your specialties. What's one of the top issues that you deal with, and what's one of your, and yeah, I'm laughing because we just had a one where I just wanted to bite his head off because he totally took over the podcast, and so I did not do it well, and I don't care, but just so but and if you have something that could be good for futures for everybody out there, because there's people on both sides of the aisle. There's all kinds of opinions. What's like rule one? Shut up.
Well, as it relates to that, what Rona said. Sorry, Jeff. I'm going.
I would
That's
too.
my
I would
opinion,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Smart
and I don't
man.
want any strife over there. So.
Too late.
But again, I mentioned the one thing is recognizing that somebody else, the empathy is probably the biggest word that weaves its way through a lot of what I facilitate as it relates to interpersonal communication with people, is empathy and understanding that people have things going on, and
Sorry.
what we can do. And there obviously is something going on there, because I see you guys smiling at each other. And understanding that, and then again, responding with the right things. Oftentimes, just giving somebody a voice. It almost doesn't matter what the outcome of an incident is, but if people feel like they've been heard, and we hear that in relationships, both with the spouse and business relationships. Sometimes I just wanted to be heard. And let people have a voice and listen to what they have to say. So active listening is really important. So people
Absolutely.
know that you're listening, making eye contact, nodding, maybe what I call parroting what they've said, so they can fix, oh, yes, that's what I'm saying, or no, that's not necessarily what I'm saying. And then going from there. So really trying to understand what the main issue is, and then moving forward so you can come up with a resolution.
Great advice. And it's hard when someone is not an empathetic character to be able to do that.
Right.
I'm
Well,
teasing.
and
I'm
again,
totally teasing. I had to do.
can
I just,
see-
I had to do that.
and again, as you mentioned, I'm friends with Jeff, so now I feel
So you
bad for
know.
Jeff.
No,
We're
no,
off camera.
no. This is great. This is great. This is the norm. Anyway, a couple tips for getting into law enforcement. A couple tips for
Now you can talk to-
transition. Now,
Yeah,
now
so-
that Rona, now that
Now I'm
Rona's
done.
happy.
Right. Certainly, law enforcement is keeping your nose clean as a young person, or as you get older. Like I said, I transitioned at 30 into the career, so making sure you're doing the right things. I think being physically fit is very important. I talk about officer wellness, again, not just so you can jump over fences and chase bad guys, but also for your insides, because when you're in law enforcement, you're at a high level of emotion and awareness. And so in order to keep your body healthy, you have to remain fit. So it keeps your heart healthy and your brain healthy. So being fit, it helps. So you don't have to be a gym rat necessarily, but certainly be able to, go on a 3-mile jog. It doesn't have to be a sprint, or do some body weight exercises. Then you can find workouts of the day online for things like that. Making sure that your credit is fine, that you don't have bills that are outstanding that you can't afford. Making sure that you don't have too many tickets and that your driving record is good.
I like the way you say too many.
Yeah,
Assuming someone can
everybody's
get one.
everybody gets pulled over. Everybody's gonna get a ticket here or
Right.
there,
A
but
parking ticket. Yeah.
right, or parking tickets, and then when you do get those, take care of them, and
Right.
then keep your nose clean as far as drugs and alcohol and all that.
Don't get caught.
Right. Well, I'm in a position where I'm probably in the minority, even for my age group, that I've never done any type of illegal narcotics.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I feel very proud of that I can,
Good for
and
you.
I can
Yeah.
say that to my kids
Sure.
that are in that age group where they could be doing that. But that doesn't necessarily disqualify you. But again, making sure that you look at those requirements now, and they're a little bit more lenient than maybe when I came on, almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think those are really the keys. And then do some research, find out what agencies are looking for in law enforcement, and know what it's about. I mentioned passion, knowing kind of what the work is, that the majority of the job is interacting with people. And that's why I am able to facilitate de-escalation courses and cultural competency, and because it's about interacting with people. The biggest thing that you do and communicating. So know what those are, and it's not just chasing bad guys. Be able to write. Writing is the next big piece is being able to put down everything that occurred on paper.
So, and then just to finish it up, we're running out of time. What was the biggest hurdle for transitioning to the private sector?
The biggest hurdle,
Or was there one?
Yeah, I don't know that I had a big hurdle. Pretty quickly after I retired, one of my friends who was a chief in another city was asked to do some work for Embassy Consulting that was started by another retired commander from Long Beach. And he said, "Hey, Joe, I have a real job, but you know what? Greg Schirmer just retired. He might be interested in facilitating classes," and that's really how it worked for me. But if I didn't have the experience both as a police officer, and it really helped that I had already been facilitating classes both in the recruit academy as well as in our advanced officer training. That helped me make that transition. So it was easier for me. If you don't have that experience facilitating classes, it doesn't mean that you can't move into facilitating classes because you have the experience. But it was just easier for me because I'd already been in front of classrooms.
Got it.
Very good.
Anything else?
Well, no, I think that's it. It's fascinating, and I think you have the perfect background to do something like this, because when it's a little bit more serious, it's when there's blood possible, you're going to be a little bit more serious. When I was in advertising and I got really stressed, I was one of the youngest salespeople, if not the youngest, in the country, and my friend Gail grabbed me by the shoulders. I've told this story before, and she put her nose this close to mine, and she's like, "Rona, snap out of it. There's no blood. No one ever died from advertising. Well, people have died from bad police work, So it's you gotta.
That is true.
It's like it's the same thing if you're not a good doctor. What do they call the person who comes in last in their class? Doctor.
So
anyway,
how do they get hold of you? If they want to hire you or somebody from Embassy Consulting?
Yeah, so Embassy Consulting Services has a website. I think it's embassycs.org. I'm not sure. Maybe it's .com. Maybe we can
So
look
just
that up.
Google Embassy
Google
Consulting.
Embassy Consulting Services. Certainly, you'll find it. And then if someone's interested in contacting me, I have an email address, and you can post it up there. But it's rugbyfab15@gmail.com. So there's the I haven't changed to a professional email since I've retired, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to keep it. It's kind of kitschy, I guess, and it works for me.
And how's the team doing this year?
Our men's club or the team that I'm coaching?
The team, both.
All right. Well, the men's club, they're 2-0, so that's great. I haven't played a game this year, which is probably smart since I'm pushing 58. And our high school team, we're 1-1-1 in league. So that's an improvement for us. That tie was a big tie this weekend.
Oh,
good job. They're lucky to have you as a coach.
Thank you.
All right. That is it for us. I'm Rona Lewis.
I'm Jeffrey Hansler.
And this has been Biz-Souls. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe. We could use the numbers. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Biz-Souls podcast with your hosts Rona Lewis and Jeffrey Hansler. Did you have fun? Subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. Talk to you next week.